how this all started, the big contributor to all this for sure definitely falls into my brother's hands, who I looked up to, 9 years older than me as a young kid. My father being in the military, so my father not being present, my brother being present has been a big influence to where I'm at now. In fact, I still remember as a kid, I remember going into his room when he was at school, and I remember picking up his mixtape, and we had a cassette full entertainment system back in the days, like you had back in the 80s. And I remember playing it, and there was like, breaks and beats on there, and I knew he was into dancing and stuff, but I didn't realize how influential that music got me to where I'm at now.
Rap also inspires physical competition. This is called breakdancing or breaking. Like rapping, it's a competitive display of style. Dance as a form of ritual warfare, as the breakers, in this case the Rocksteady crew, try to outdo each other. Competitions between rival groups of breakers have occasionally been misinterpreted by the authorities as gang warfare.
All his tapes, he had records as well. My mom had records from, obviously all Puerto Rican. El Gran Combo, Tito Fuentes, obviously a lot of percussional type of records, or music in a sense, which led me to now understanding my love for drums. And so as it, progressed, I got into breakdancing like my brother did, listening to the breaks, mixtapes, bio mixtapes, and then eventually led me into records and collecting records, going through my parents' records, and then, running to other DJs who collected records, and just going so in depth into music. It was such a great experience to find out, more, where all the music I was influenced, especially, all the hip hop and everything, came from these records from the 60s and 70s, and I was like just blown away, and it just made me so hungry to actually yearn for more. And so I was, obviously collecting records, finding, records and breaks on records, and obviously transferring them to, I would say, a drum machine, which obviously I contribute my buddy Johnny Pete Valdez, who actually was the first to invest in the MPC in 1997. And we had his dad's records, we sampled on there, and the rest was like, we were just addicted from there. And so I finally got an MPC and started sampling records into this MPC, started chopping up drums, and it just got so addicting. Like just trying to find more records with more drums, and it just got so addictive to the point where I was like, what happens when I run out of records? Like I just need to feed myself with drums, So at some point after producing, on this drum machine for so long, I was like, well, let's, where do I go next? And then obviously looking at these records and looking at the back of the records, I'm looking at these guys' equipment, I'm like, I need to look for that equipment. I need these, I need that drum set, I need, what is that, a microphone in the background? I need what they have, you know what I mean? So that's, after getting into a big rabbit hole into records, I got into another rabbit hole into actually collecting the equipment that was on the back of these records, and just digging for, more and more equipment, as you can see the what I've acquired. All of that to say, where I'm at now, in again retrospect, is it came from, I can say, a mixtape to some records to a drum machine to equipment, and it's accumulated to me to be wholeheartedly doing this because I love it. That first love, like that first break I hear from my brother's mixtape, it brought out so much energy out of me, and pretty much brings me to my calling here in the drum world. So yeah, that contributes, again, everything from start to finish, and this is my world. Now it's funny how now, starting with my brother's mixtape to my family's collection of records, to his records, to my friends' records, And going from the first record we put out, you know, this is, I have to give a reference, Adam Douglas Manella, him and I did this video, Status Skateboards, when we were actually producing on the MPC. All the beats on here came from the MPC when we were the alias MHE, and which ended up leading us to get on a record label called Sound and Color. And so releasing this with James, it ended up leading us to this, which is the first compilation Sound and Color put out. And they ended up putting our tracks on here. Actually, wow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 tracks of us, you know. And this compilation was pretty much where it all started. And came from here to, again, going back, more records. I almost like took a time machine and went back and started putting out more records. So Sound and Color put out 45s, but we did a compilation with Ghostface Killer from Wu-Tang. You know, we got a Ghostface Killer record. I remember the day we met him downtown and we handed him this, and he was like, yo, and he ended up dubbing the record and putting it on his compilation record with the other MC that was on here. That's hilarious. He straight up dubbed the record and put it on his actual his LP. That was hilarious. So yeah, so that led to, you know, again, records after records, and then to where we're at now. We are in a place where we finally got a record box for all the 10 inches we put out. There's 10 different records in here of 10-inch vinyl. The heart of what Drumetrics came from actually derived from dirtydrums.com. And so that was actually manifested in, I want to say, early 2000. And so basically it was actually, when acquiring the vintage equipment and recording them on reels, was actually taking the individual kicks and snares from those kits, and I actually uploaded them on a website, dirtydrums.com. Obviously it's no longer existing. Was basically having an actual picture of a vintage drum set when you go to the website, and you could physically on the keyboard, the individual drum shots were actually on the keyboard, and that was the original vision from, like I said, early 2000, of actually providing producers and musicians drum samples, vintage drum samples. And so, because obviously, again, that's where I started, you know, from listening to all these records. I just love the tones and the character that was, you know, recorded back then. So now, speeding up to date with the latest Sakai, taking all the recordings from all the drum sets that I own, to getting them recorded on reel-to-reel, and then exporting them to something like an Akai MPC, is a perfect example of back to the root. So back to the root of dirtydrums.com, and I'm excited for the new adventures we're headed and the new chapters that are about to come to fruition. That's obviously in the making. And so now with all the technology that we have and how easy accessible it is to get instant downloads and to provide producers and musicians organic sounds that they can instantly obtain. So it's kind of cool. We're excited.